Okay, this is the January 10th, 2023 meeting of the Sewer Commission. I'm John Reynolds, Chairman of the Sewer Commission. And let's see, Dave, you usually have a flag, but you don't have a camera. So I think we'll have to forego the pledge tonight.
Jane, you got a flag? Looks like you're looking for a flag, Jane. No?
That's we'll say it twice next meeting.
I'm wearing a red shirt.
I have a flag.
Okay.
There you go.
And Dave, since we can't see you, you want to lead us?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
Flag,
of the United States of America, to the
to the
republic
republic,
for which it stands,
it stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all. Okay, great. All right, I have to read this at each one of our Zoom meetings. So in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be available to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID 792-737-0353. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. Note, no participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. I'll do a roll call vote to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Let's see, Brett will not be here. Dave McDonald,
Here.
and Dave, you'll probably be leaving early.
Yes.
Mike Nault,
Here.
Mike DeVakis. No, not yet. Okay, and I for myself. And staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Bill Bernard.
Here.
Barbara Fabe,
Aye.
Paula Bertram. Paula.
You're muted. She is here, but, well, was there, but she's muted.
There, Paula Bertram. Okay. I can see that Paula is here. Jane Rainley.
Here.
Okay. Any public comment from the public? Seeing none, any public comment from the commission?
Mr. Chair, just one, there's a meeting going on at the selectmen meeting tonight in regards to taxes. If your tax bill has increased more than 20-25%, please go to tonight's meeting. Actually, if you have an increase at all, you're more than welcome to go to public comment at 7 o'clock. I hope you guys participate. Thank you.
Okay. Any announcements from anyone?
I just have one, John,
Okay,
if you don't mind. The tax delinquencies were processed on the 21st of December. Anyone that owed money from the prior fiscal year will see that on their tax bill with the identifier of sewer lien. And if you want to pay against it, separate from your regular tax payment, you need to go to the tax collector's office.
okay.
If you have any
Any other-
questions, call the commission office. Thank you.
The commission office?
Well, if they have questions, how we got to that amount or whatever, but the payment has to be done through the collector's office.
Okay. Any other announcements? No?
Okay,
All right,
Mr.
let's go
Chairman? Mr.
right
Chairman,
into our
can you hear me,
appointments.
Kind of, Paul is trying to,
Kind of, I can kind of hear you, Paula. It's sort of an echoey sound. Al Packard, who is from our maintenance contractor, we've moved him until January 31st. And we moved Dan Proctor up to 6. So Dan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So we made a application with Bob and Paula there last week about uses of the sewer line at the existing property at 1325 Mass Ave. Submitted some plans to all the departments. We're going through planning board as we speak. We had our first meeting last night and it was continued because we still need some information from peer review and what have you. I just wanted to get some clarification on flow rates and usage of obviously the sewer main. So if we could start with the proposed 5,400 square foot office building, that would be situated on the lot in front of the existing house. The house right now is serviced by private septic. They did not tie into the stub that was left off of Mass Ave. And I just want to make sure that we're allowed to use that stub, which, you know, at that time, obviously was put there for a house. Now we're doing commercial, but it still is the normal 6-inch stub. The flow rates for office building aren't really any different than a 5-bedroom house, I guess, would be what it would be rated at. So I just wanted to make sure that that's okay with the board. I have a lot of questions and clarification. Honestly, I don't need answers tonight. I just want to get the wheels rolling on this project. I don't know, do we want to address every question, concern one at a time, or what's the board's thoughts?
I think, Dan, honestly, whatever way you're most comfortable going through it is fine with me.
Okay, fair enough. So the second building on the lot is a proposed 5,000 square foot personal improvement building. What that is that's a fitness center. Okay, so in other words, obviously Planet Fitness, Global Fitness, those type of places. It is not a gymnasium where people will come and participate in gymnastics, cheerleading competition, those type of things. So there's not really a classification in Title V for a fitness center. I did have a brief conversation with Jim Gariffi. He kind of pointed me in a few directions on some, information I can get from other areas as far as flow rates and what have you. So that one's still kind of a work in progress. Again, we're a long ways from construction on this project. So ultimately, I didn't know if there's an option of doing water readings once the facility is built, if that's would ever be an option. Again, I don't need an answer now, but that's just something that we're dealing with. Unfortunately, a lot of the fitness centers are in like strip malls. So the usage isn't always definitive by different water meters. So that does become a little bit problematic, but anyhow, we can cross that bridge when we get to it. And then the final one is the proposed Morton Building contractor storage yard. I had a brief conversation with Paula and Bob about this. What this is actually, it's a building that's going to be subdivided into as many as 10 units, but it could be 3 units, it could be 5 units. It all depends on who wants to lease and or purchase a unit. We're still in the marketing stages of that project. But again, it comes down to how that is classified. A lot of it could be retail store. In other words, there could be a cabinet maker in there and he could make cabinets and then he could try to sell them. So personally, I think retail store is probably the classification that should be. A large section of it honestly could be considered warehouse space or dry storage. I have a plumber who's interested in one of the units. He wants to just get all his plumbing supplies out of his garage and keep his wife happy. So ultimately that could be what that is. And at the end of the day, he's going to drive there in the morning. He's going to get his plumbing supplies for the day. He's going to go to the job. He's going to come back at the end of the day and go from there. Each unit will have a bathroom. So there will be 10 bathrooms in this building as proposed. Reason being is there are dividing walls that, if you look at the plan, it shows the dividing walls making 10 units out of it. If someone decides to purchase 2 units, well, at that point, then the code says I have to have 2 bathrooms because of the square footage. So each unit will always have a bathroom. So you have the option of making separate units out of it or 1 unit. So again, that's as office space, that's a pretty, retail store. That is pretty much a definitive 50 gallons per day per 1,000 square foot. which would equate to 720 gallons per day. But that being said, there is some parts of that that really could be classified as warehouse space, which is more done by gallons per day per person.
Dan,
Yeah.
could I just interrupt for a minute? Barbara's been putting her hand up for a little
I
bit
have,
there.
I've lost the ability to raise hands somehow because I'm sharing the screen. Thank you, John. I did talk with Jim Gareffi today because I hadn't heard back from you, Dan. So I did get input from him as far as the personal improvement building.
Yep,
He would go with, there's a couple standalone fitness centers that he's aware of. There's one in Air, there's one in Groton. So he just thought we could go with either of those. And then
Okay.
I did talk to him about the contractor's building, and his preference on this type of arrangement would be to do warehouse and have it be a flow per person. And they're usually estimated at 3 to 4 contractors who they figure coming in and out during the day, possibly.
okay,
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
okay, so 3 or 4, so if we said 4, 15 gallons per day per person, so you're talking 60 gallons a day per unit.
Right, times 10. Yep.
Okay,
So. And
Mr.
then the
Chair?
normal office.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of questions if we could.
Sure.
Barbara, can you blow that up a little bit?
Alright.
Is there a particular section, Dave, you're looking to see?
The whole thing virtually, because right now everything's just a blur.
Barb, if you want to close the comments, you can hit the little arrow and get rid of that, and it'll make it bigger. The
Yes,
gray arrow on the scroll bar. No, where it says 218 comments, yeah.
Okay.
And then you should still be able to zoom in.
I know.
down at the bottom, you see that little. It says
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
21% there, right there. Okay, good. Now you got to scroll over to the building.
This is the contractor yard.
Yeah. So,
There you
Mr.
go.
Proctor, I talked to Bob this morning about my concerns. And this is the sheet that I got, and I was just wondering about your sanitary floor drains. Are you running floor drains in each bay? And I got a drawing after that said you were.
so again, that's the discussion I want to have with the sewer department. So the bottom line is I know what happens when we have floor drains. Okay, all kinds of things get flushed down the floor drain. These individual units are not going to have water spigots in them. Because the last thing I want is a tenant to pull into the bay, close the garage door and wash his truck. Because that's not really what this is designed for. And that would be spelled out in the lease agreement and or the condo agreements. So I personally don't want to put a floor drain in each unit just because I think that's inviting trouble. I need one in that first one because the one where the MDC trap goes in, that's also the backside of that is also the mechanical room. So that particular bay is going to be about a half a bay. It's probably not going to be rented and or sold. It's going to be more for me to keep, snow blowers and lawn mowers and maintenance type equipment in the front side of it. And then all the back side of it is where the furnace is going to be and electric panels and all that type of stuff. So I don't feel a need for floor drains. Again, just because there's a garage door in some of a building does not make it a garage. Because if some guy's building cabinets and he wants retail sales and he wants someone to walk in there, then we don't really need a floor drain in that particular unit. So,
One of the things is, do we have a proposed water line schedule here somewhere? Barbara?
yeah, that should be on your grading and, well, actually, it's on that plan right there. Because that shows the fire hydrant. So the W on the bottom, that's the water line coming in. There's a fire hydrant and then the domestic water line would be adjacent to that in the same trench.
Barbara, can you blow that up to 75% and then focus on the garage? I hold it right there. So you have no water at all going to that building?
No, there is water. He just didn't separate the domestic line from the water line. So the water line is for the fire suppression system. And then there's going to be a 1-inch water line to service the bathrooms, because obviously you need bathrooms.
Here's my concern, okay? If I was a contractor, which I am, believe it or not, but if I rent out a bay, I'm gonna wanna wash my trucks. So where am I gonna wash my truck there legally? You have an area where you're gonna focus off. If you have a landscaping guy going in there, they're gonna wanna wash their vehicles. They wanna get salt off their vehicles. Where's all that gonna happen on this property?
Okay, so I really don't want that happening on the property.
But I don't think you're gonna be able to stop it. So I don't know how you can stop it. So if you got
Okay.
water going to that building, I would try to find a way to connect a hose to it. So how are you gonna do that?
Okay, so that, I guess that's why I'm asking, do you want to have an MDC trap in, the floor drain in each one and run to that MDC trap?
I mean, I'm asking you, I mean, you're in the business. How do you control? This is all rental property and I'm familiar with rental property. I mean, it'd be nice if you had one area in this facility with a hard top surface with a drain where people can wash their trucks. Because it's gonna happen. I mean, you know that as well as I do.
Well, that's why I'm saying, that's why I don't want to have outside spigots. So the only way they'd be able to get water is if they tried to tap off the bathroom sink.
Well, they would do that. If it was me, I would change the water and put a tap off the bathroom sink
Okay,
because I rent it. But if you make a space outside the area, right next to the right there, of an area for them, and you can even charge them, charge for the water. But if they want to wash their vehicles or equipment, that's probably the place to do it. You know what I mean? In one drain.
Dave, I hear what you're saying, but if he is not going to put floor drains in, then the water is not going to be running into the sewer system.
Then it goes into the ground, Mr. Chair. That's even worse.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I have to look at this from the perspective as the sewer commissioner. And if he's not putting any drains in, can we require him to put an interceptor in for something, for drains that don't exist? That's all.
I mean, that's something that we can send an email over to the conservation and advise them what's happening, let them do it. I'm just saying there's got to be an easy way to do it. Like I said, my concern is you got 10 days there, don't know who's going to be rented out to. How they're going to wash their vehicles. In fact, Mr. Proctor, how do you wash your vehicles now down on Electric Ave?
there's a place down there, it's called Whale and Wash.
There you go. You want to open up a whale and wash up in, I mean, you bring your vehicles in there after they do the salt and stuff?
So I'd love to, but unfortunately I can't put a car wash in this facility.
Yeah.
Because of regulations.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Dave, but what I'm trying to do is again, I want to be able to have language in whether it's condo-wise or whether it's a lease agreement that washing of vehicles is not allowed.
Well, like I said, you got to cover yourself. As far as all the other stuff, I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was pretty good, actually. It's just that I'm concerned, and you're on the DPW committee with me, and we have the same problem, is that this, I never heard of a project where a contractor can rent out this kind of a storage. And to me, knowing some of the contractors that would take advantage of it, I would want to bring my snow blowers in. I would want to bring any kind of salt equipment. It's all going to drain. It's all going to go into that bay. So where does that water go? And that's all I'm saying. And Mr. Chair, if we're responsible for that, I think we are. I would definitely bring it up to
Well,
conservation.
I think it's great that it's being brought up. Again, my only concern would be if he's not putting floor drains in, can we require him to put an interceptor in? I mean, he has one designed in his plans. So I don't know, Mr. Proctor, if you made a final decision yet as to whether you're going to have any floor drains, one bay with a floor drain. I don't, it sounds
Okay,
like
so
you're not looking for answers for that kind of thing tonight, but it's certainly something you just might want to think about.
Okay, so I guess this is a question to the commission then. So if I put floor drains in every bay and then we just run them into that MDC trap, because that's what that's designed to clean out. And then that MDC trap is maintenance, once a year, like we do over at the car wash. Is that okay with the sewer commissioners?
That would be fine with me. And Mr. Chair, just for correction, if you remember, we made Unitel do this as well. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, right, because they were going to be washing their vehicles.
Well, for a number of reasons, the same thing for the snows and salts and stuff going on.
Right. Right.
groundwater.
Right, but the difference being that Unitil said they were going to be doing this. Mr. Proctor initially said he was not going to have floor drains in. I mean, that's a decision he has to make.
No, no, I think if you go back to the minutes, Unitil wasn't going to put the floor drains in. We requested that they do that. Bob, am I mistaken on that, or?
No, but like John
Okay.
said, it's because they did say they were going to do truck wash.
Okay,
But,
so like I
okay,
said,
Dave,
I don't really have a problem with it if I can put floor drains in each bay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I certainly would do it and then send it out to the MDC trap.
Okay,
Like I said, I would appreciate that, but that's up to the rest of the board. I mean, that's just
Okay.
my opinion on it.
No, I don't have a problem with that, so I'm fine with that.
okay. I think we're all set with that. Any other questions?
Paula has her hand raised.
Okay, Paula?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question on the pumping of the MDC trap. Would we be tracking that similar to what we do with grease traps now?
You know, that, I don't know what we're doing with Unitil. We should be. And I just think that's something that we're gonna have to look into. Mr. Proctor, with all the restaurants that have grease traps, we monitor, they have to report on their grease traps,
Mhm.
their interceptors. And it'd probably be a good idea that there'd be some kind of, something set in place so that the sewer commission, sewer department knows the trap is being cleaned out, whatever the required time period is. And it's something we should look at with Unitil too, Barbara. Because I don't know if we're doing that. But thank
So-
you, Paul.
So just so you know, Wind River comes to the Whalen Wash
Right.
either November or January of every year. I have documentation from them. They fill out a report, how much the sludge was, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how
Yeah,
that-
Dan, if you could start sending us a copy of that report when they come, that would be great.
Okay,
You can just email it to the office.
fair enough.
Okay, any other questions?
Mr. Proctor, I'm excited about the project. It's nice. I know I saw a little bit of your meeting last night with the planning board, and I wish you well doing it, but I think this is exciting for somebody just starting in the business. They need some space. I mean, this is a good idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So can I put you down for bays 1, 2, and 3?
You know what?
With-
How
with-
about
with-
3, 4,
You
and
said
5?
you said you're a
Me?
contractor, so we're taking your deposits anytime.
How about 3, 4, and 5? But I don't want floor drains in it. So
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Do you have any other information you want to give us tonight, Mr. Proctor?
No, as long as everything else on the plan is, satisfactory, obviously I want to get feedback back to Dillis and Roy. Again, we are going back to the planning board, so I just want to say, I had a conversation with the sewer department, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I'm not really, all that worried about the flow rates at this point. I just want to make sure that the plan is what you're looking for. I know Bill's had a chance to look at it. I don't know if he has any feedback, but ultimately that's really my biggest thing at this point.
that's a good point. Bill, do you have any comments you want to talk about this?
So my initial comments on when I looked at it was snow storage. They have some snow storage areas, but there was no signs. And if Mr. Proctor does the plowing, okay, but if he calls somebody else in, how do they know where to push it? So my recommendation was to put up signs. But as for the sewer, I think we've covered all my concerns tonight, so I'm good with it.
No, Bill, you bring up a good point, Bill. Barbara, can you blow that out a little bit?
Reduce it?
Yeah, reduce it to
Yep.
40, 45. Keep on going, one more. Mr. Proctor, is there any snow storage areas you got on here?
Yeah, so it's not on that particular plan, but Bill's comments were reviewed by Dillis and Roy, and we do have signage that's gonna take place. They're really just waiting for peer review from Graves Engineering out of Worcester, as they certify that all the basins are designed, you know, with enough capacity for the stormwater management and what have you. So, so there will be signs and there will be spots on this plan that'll show where the snow's gonna be plowed. So
Yeah,
that's
Bill,
just,
Bill, I think the
that's just a
planning
work in
board-
progress.
I think the planning board will bring that up at their meeting as well. It's kind of like out of our range of sewer. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Or the sewer department?
No, I'd just like to say good luck, Dan.
Great, thank you.
Nice project.
All right, Dan, so it sounds like mostly you wanted to just pass on as much information about what you're doing to us. And I don't think anyone on the commission saw anything that they were concerned about. I mean, Mr. McDonald did bring up the floor drains, which we've talked about. But is there anything else you're looking from us for tonight?
Nope, I am good. I received the information I was looking for, so I appreciate your help. All
Okay. Thank you.
right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks,
You
Dan.
too.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with your selectmen, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, buddy. Mr. Chair, if I could be excused for a little bit.
No,
do you have
not
any-
really, Dave.
You do have a quorum, right? Mike, are you there? Mike DeVagas? DeVegas?
Yep.
Okay. Guys, I wish you well. Anybody wants to go to the town select board meeting, feel free. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for letting me go. Feel like a little
Okay.
kid going to my prom.
I'm not letting you go. You're just leaving, so.
Okay, and hopefully I
good.
will be back because I am leaving as well.
Okay,
Jane, make
good luck.
sure you put that in the minutes, that the chairman was very unfair to us.
And
See
Jane,
ya.
also, if you haven't already, please note that Mike DeVakis is now with us.
All right, good night, guys.
Good night.
See you, Dave. Good luck.
Wish us luck. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to current business. Bill Forno. You want to give us an update on this, Barb?
Sure. We get the reports of the cleanouts. As Paula had stated, the last three have been at or above the required 25% maximum or cap. It was actually like an April one was 30%, and then September and December now we're at 25%. And they are not supposed to go any higher. So after the 30% one, we did warn them that they were over and that they needed to, we were going to be watching and making sure they were not, blatantly going way over. So, this is just this is a request of the commission. We haven't initiated the process before without going through the commission. So we would like to initiate inspections and get out there. We want to check and see if the internal logs have been updated and maintained, as we don't get to have copies of those like we do with the accounts that have just internal. So just a general inspection, because if the internal traps aren't being cleaned, then that is leading to the external going over. And then
Right.
if, depending on how those look, just advising the restaurant that they are going to have to increase their frequency to, whatever the commission wishes. Like it's at 12 weeks now, so should it be 10? Should it be 8? And I guess we'll just look and see what the logs show.
Okay. I know what we used to do for inspections, but I'm not sure if we wanted to do an inspection or be there when it was pumped. Do we have a process in place anymore? We used to use Swiss for that, I believe.
Right. No, it was, we switched it over to be, the sewer commission would set it up to inspect. So most of these pump haulers come before business opens because that's a smelly process. So it's usually, before sunrise a lot of times. But if we wanted to attend and, a pumping. We just need to let the owners know and set it up.
Okay. I don't know if that's something we actually have to have a vote on. But definitely if they're consistently at 25% or above minimum, we're going to have to increase the frequency of the external trap. I'd like to keep it to, 4-week blocks. They're doing 12 now. Should we talk to them about doing it 8 weeks? But I think it would be worth it to have someone go in and take a look to see if the internal grease traps are being maintained.
And if they are, we can move ahead and say that we would like it pumped at 8 weeks to see.
Okay.
if
But
the house
again,
can- that's a
who-
question. Is that all
Who
right?
physically are we going to have do the inspection?
Paula was interested in attending, and Bill, are you still willing to go on site?
Yeah, I can. Would we want to bring in a consultant,
Right, and bring Al maybe with
Right.
us.
right?
I think that would probably be a good idea. He obviously is very familiar with traps and the interceptors. So if the sewer department wants to set that up and probably do it sooner rather than later. Any thoughts or comments from the Mike or Mike? No? Okay,
No, all good. I
okay,
mean, that's what we used to do. We used to go
Right.
look at them all, so. I
right.
mean,
It's a great experience.
oh, yes. Early morning and smelly. They got me.
Mhm.
Okay, next on the agenda is Pond View. It's there mostly because I just want to keep it on every agenda.
Well,
Ha-
also
have-
the memos that are going
Right.
back and forth.
Right, I was going to say, Mike, have you had a chance to read the two memos that have gone out? One,
I haven't lately. No, I haven't had a chance to. Sorry.
okay,
I did read the first one that was sent out and I
Okay.
thought it was good. I thought everything was,
Okay.
good job, Paula.
yeah, the second one is the first one's more, it's focused on Fitchburg. The second one is the addendum is focused on Leominster. Some of the concern, I mean, we prefer it to go to Leominster because of the capacity, but some of the issues would be pump station, Mass Ave 2 and Mass Ave 3 are close to capacity now. And 40,000 gallons a day could very easily push it over that. So those pump stations definitely need to be evaluated. Dana Street, Al believes that another well would have to be put in for surge, a 10,000 gallon well. And also the line that Dana Street pumps to is a 6-inch line going down Whalum Road. We would need to look at that to see if it can handle. We need to look at that and see what the capacity is. So that's Barbara, that's pretty much the gist of it, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it just reinforces, and we reinforce again, we need a plan and we need it peer reviewed so that all these
Right.
issues are reviewed by an engineer. Also, I did not end up sending it out to ZBA yet. I realized we had run the other one by council and he had some input, so it was sent to council. And if I get an answer tonight, I'll get it over to them. If not, I'll get it first thing in the morning. The ZBA hearing is tomorrow night at 7:05, so the sooner they get it, the better. But we just wanted to run it by. Everything we send to the ZBA could as part of any court case. So we want to make sure we have accurate
Right,
documents.
okay. So Mike, either one of you interested in going to the ZBA meeting tomorrow? Zoom, you don't have to go in person?
Tomorrow is going to be bad for me. I got
Gonna
to.
say,
It's going to be running late tomorrow night.
I'll be attending. I assume they're gonna do a Zoom again, Barbara?
Yes, I say so.
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
All
And I
right.
will verify.
I'll be attending. I meant to ask Dave before he left, so I'll call him tomorrow.
I was gonna say, I can't make it also, but we could, since Dave isn't here, we could kind of take a vote and vote him in.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dave will be watching it anyway, so.
Right, I'm sure he will.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure Paula will too.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it is by Zoom. I will
Okay.
send a link to everybody as well tomorrow.
Okay, anyone have any questions about Pond View or comments? No? Okay, next on the agenda is policy updates. Barbara, you want to just give a quick
Yeah,
rundown? of-
the commission had reviewed a lot of the policy updates that were required from Fitchburg. We called them the chapter 147 because that's the chapter in the Fitchburg ordinances that run the whole thing. So we'd already done that last winter. And then we waited in the spring for the bylaw to be passed so that we could make the regulation changes using just one public hearing. So the list of policy changes that I sent out were all, I believe, I think they were all the policy discussions that have been had over the past year, maybe year and a half, while we've been waiting for chapter 147 and the bylaw to go through. So they should be, I hope they're familiar to you. Most of them I would think you had seen or heard me discuss. And I don't know if anybody wants more information, the actual verbiage, or if you need to have, we need to have a special meeting, Mr. Chairman, to review any of the proposed changes.
You know, I would like to review them, not tonight. And I don't know if, I would like some of the other commissioners to review them too. Because once we vote these, I don't want to find out in, 2, 3, 4, 5 months that we have to make changes. So I guess it's a fair amount of information to digest. If you could, take a look at it between now and the next meeting. And if you have any questions, contact Barbara before the meeting. And either we can vote then, or if we need a special meeting to go over this, we could schedule a special meeting. So if you could take a look at it and contact Barbara with any questions, I would appreciate it. I think everyone's nodding their head yes, right?
yes, we are.
Okay. Okay. Barbara, any other comments on that? I know we want
No,
to get this done before you depart.
before what? Oh, yes,
Or
I would,
you
yes,
depart.
I'm anxious to get these policy changes through. A lot of them have
Right.
been hanging out for a while.
Right, and I don't want to drag it on much longer.
Right. So the only one that actually I may look at again, now that we've talked about the 3 traps for the oil water separators.
Right.
I just may want to try between now and the next meeting to put something together to require, because we don't have anything in our regulations to require those reports be submitted. So we need to get them into the regs. So.
Okay, that's a good point.
And yeah, I had one more with Paula today. We were talking, she was doing training with a Munis rep. And I realized that we talked about allowing adjustments to bills. And in the old days, prior to flow meters being the basis for how we pay Leominster and Fitchburg, Leominster required that we only go back 6 months to adjust a bill. That was never in the regs. I went and looked. So I just would like to add it because it puts the pressure or the onus on the owner to come to us before too long has passed to say, hey, we need a waiver. So just
Okay.
adding that within 6 months are the
Okay.
only things.
Okay. Any other comments on the policy updates? No, okay. Budget. It's that
Budget
time
prep.
of year.
Yeah,
Barbara, what is the schedule? When does it have to be to the FinCom and when does it have?
I had gotten I haven't heard a date from Heather yet, so I don't have one that I can say. I can say what our normal history has been, that we really we delve into it usually by the end of January and try to get her some sort of a draft in early February. So I have begun it. And I'm not ready to share, but can share between now and the next meeting a draft. So that
Okay.
I think it will be part of the next agenda as well. On the 31st is our next meeting. We kind of skip a week because we do the last Tuesday. So we should have a draft to review by then. And
Okay.
whether you want to have a workshop before that meeting, so that we can make a decision
All right,
by the
well-
31st.
Barbara, why don't you keep me updated? I don't know if we can make a decision tonight, whether we want to have a special meeting for that.
Mhm.
That maybe
I will.
you and I could talk about it in the next couple of weeks and then make a decision whether we should have a special meeting or not. I mean, Mike, I mean, do you, Mike, you've done more of these than I have.
Yeah,
Do you think it would be best to have a special meeting at some point to go over just the budget?
I mean, we've always pretty much handled it during the normal meetings, but I will say those meetings tend to run over without a doubt because we get into a lot. So it's
Right.
probably not a bad idea to try, maybe present it and then at some point before we finalize, have a special meeting for it. Because, I mean, obviously when it's first thrown out, there's lots and lots of questions. So
Right.
as we get close to dialing it in, then maybe a meeting at that point.
Okay. So Barbara, you and I we'll keep talking every day. No. We can touch bases in a couple weeks to see where you are and see how much will be available for the next meeting.
Right. And I am trying to, Paula's been in this training for the last couple of days, and I really want her to sit and work on it with me. And of course, it's billing and she's got the line now. So again, many strings pulling from different directions, but I do want Paula to go over it with me. So it'll just take a little bit of doing.
All right. Any other questions regarding the budget? No? Okay. The next item on the agenda is a discussion of an umbrella contract with an engineering consultant. What this is, I think it might be a good idea to have some kind of money available to the sewer department to be able to call Wright Pierce. I mean, Wright Pierce, I think, answered a lot of questions for us regarding Pondview without really having any kind of a contract in place or without us having an ability to pay them. So I was hoping we could set up some amount of money that would be available, perhaps at the discretion of the chairman. For instance, there are a couple of questions I would have liked to ask Wright Pierce before the meeting tomorrow at the zoning board, but I just felt we've already kind of taken advantage of their time. So I don't think it needs to be a lot of money, maybe $1,000, $2,000. Any thoughts? And I would like to see it with, I don't know if we have to set up a specific contract with an engineer or just make funds available for that purpose.
Well, we should have a contract with
Okay,
them. And we have done this before with Wright Pierce. They
Okay.
do a general contract and then they do tasks. So it's like on retainer, you just have them available. But we do need to have a contract. We should have a contract and a PO so that it's understood.
Yeah, okay. Any thoughts, Mike or Mike?
I like the contract idea. Putting money aside, in my opinion, somehow or another, you put money aside, it always gets used. Because this is.
Well,
we put a
yeah,
number
it does,
on
right, probably,
it. The contract, you negotiate and you're there.
yeah, it was a bad choice of words on my part. I want something in place so that
I get it, yeah, I
we
understand.
can call.
Right.
I'm saying Wright Pierce only because
Well,
they are
right.
the most familiar with everything we do in the sewer
Yeah.
department.
And we have had contracts with them that are not all spent. It's just there for the use. In the past, it's been a couple years, but we used to always set up, it was a $10,000 just umbrella contract. And I did look, we've got 30,000 in this year's budget under engineering, so we have the money. And I think it was for that, such type of an item to
Okay,
have
so
engineers.
do we want to take a vote on this tonight? Because I'd like to get something in place as soon as possible. Does anyone, Mike or Mike, want to make a motion?
Well, it's, if Bob's saying that we have 30,000 set aside for that, I mean, I think we're, in my opinion, we're good then. And then when the time comes and we have to, decide who we're gonna go to, retain for it, I guess, would be the, I don't know, I guess I'm saying, do we have to vote on it? Because it's kind of there, it's a budget item.
Well, we don't have a contract though, and with
Right.
a contract, I need a PO, so we really would have to,
But-
we're set up to spend it now, but without a PO, we can't pay anybody.
So,
so.
so we're putting a motion to contract somebody for this is what we're doing, or?
Right, I mean, it could, yeah, like
Yeah,
John said, it could be for $2,000, just to.
Right, I get it, I understand, yeah.
So yes, I'd like us to be able to put a contract in place. Because I think we're going to be having a lot of questions that have to do with pond view engineering questions as time goes on.
So this is basically just for like consultation.
Yes, that's how I would view it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we would need something if we can't write a PO right now, if they charge us for that, right? So if we have an hour's worth of consultation time with them before a meeting, that's not covered under a contract or anything like that, so we'd have to write a PO to pay for that hour.
Right, you have to have something set up in order to pay anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't hurt. Do we have any, we don't have any extra time left over from the last contract, or?
No, they've been very task specific with the Upland Ave, and we haven't had a general kind of retainer contract for a couple years. And Kevin just keeps answering questions nicely, but one of these days, I imagine it's got to stop.
Yeah, Mike, no, you seem perhaps reluctant.
It's like, it's unknown territory, because I mean, we don't know if this is moving forward, if it's not moving forward, is it moving forward with sewer, and I guess I have no problem. There's gonna be a lot of questions, but I guess one question is, do we just, are we allowed to just choose somebody? Does this have to go out to bid? Do we have to put bids out and then decide? I don't.
That's a
And
good,
it's hard because we can't really cap it.
Well,
There's
if
a lot of
that's given
unanswered questions.
sorry, given that monetary amount of 2,000, even up to 5,000, you wouldn't necessarily have to go out to bid or get 3 verbal quotes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like 2,000 I'm okay with. You know what I'm saying? And then if it starts getting really involved, then we have to see council do whatever, then we can deal with it from there. The money's there. It's just we have to
Right.
allocate it. So, yeah, so I'd be okay with like, let's say 2,500, put it 2,500. So
All
we're
right.
talking,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Are we talking with Right PS? Is that what we're talking?
I mean, Wright Pierce comes to mind only because they are the most familiar with.
Sure, they've been familiar with. Okay,
This-
so to get beyond all this, I'd like to make a motion that we set $2,500 aside to contract with Wright Pierce for a consulting fee,
General
Okay.
consulting services.
consulting services.
Okay. Mike, you want to second that?
I second that.
Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor? Mike Knoll,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Mike DeVegas,
Aye.
and I for myself. So I guess we have a yes vote on that.
yes, we do.
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Great, thank you. The last item, well, almost the last item, the minutes. Did you guys have a chance to read the minutes?
I think we have to skip that by. I wasn't at that.
Yeah,
meeting.
I think we do.
I think Mike wasn't either, if I recall.
Right, okay. So the next item is town caucus coming up. Brett's not here, but Mike, you gonna run again?
Mike DeVekas.
Mike DeVegas?
Do I have to answer that tonight?
No, you don't. You have
Okay.
to answer that tonight.
As far away as you can, right, Mike?
No, I just been, honestly, I really got to think about it. I've really enjoyed being in the sewer committee. We've learned a lot of things. A lot of great things have happened. We've done a lot of great things with the town. Just with business and the future of the business and everything coming up, I want to make sure I can dedicate my time to the committee. It's not fair for you guys and for the town if I'm not here all the time. So I will have an answer to you guys shortly.
Okay.
Just
that's
remember,
great.
we know where you live.
It's not far.
Okay, Barbara, business manager, you have the floor.
Retirement. It's, the item on the agenda is the retirement and posting. I had talked with payroll, and in order to get things rolling quickly, as we all know in towns, things take a very long time in hiring. It would be important, and I do request that you allow us to immediately get my job posted. I do believe we have a candidate that would like to, is interested. And
I was
just-
only kidding today when I said I wanted the job. Just, no,
Oh.
but no,
But-
Barb,
and
I totally agree. You got to get the ball rolling because it's your end point's not that far away.
Right.
Is there anything you need from the commission or myself to?
I need your approval to go ahead and post a replacement. Because the sooner we get that verified, then we have a vacancy possibly in the assistant business manager, and we can work on that. But we have to get one domino before the other, so.
Okay, so is this something we need to vote on, or you just
I think as long as the commission is
in
okay with
agreement?
it being posted for 40 hours. Paula was originally interested, our assistant business manager, at lesser hours, but she's agreed at this point to just keep it at 40. There's a lot going on.
So are we all in agreement that we need to get this posted as quickly as possible?
Yes.
Mike Knoll?
Yes, with the clause of, I don't know how to word it, but a flexibility of hours. somehow, like, for in other words, we want a good candidate, but like, if we're gonna lose a good candidate over 4 hours or 5 hours, to me, you gotta look at that, I guess. That's all.
I have no problem with that. I don't know how it works.
That's
Down the whole hiring
right.
process.
Like when it comes to the hiring process, can there be flexibility in the hours, I guess? Would be, if that was the breaking point to get, a really good candidate.
Right.
And we're talking 4 hours or 5 hours in the scheme of things, especially with an assistant or whatever, it's not, in my opinion, it's not a deal breaker.
Is it doable, Barbara, to do it that way?
We would probably want to initiate a request for the personnel committee just to verify, or the personnel, HR person, to verify that we can rewrite the job description to say maybe 36 to 40 or 32 to 40 hours. But it was just, we went through this, and right now we're going with 40, and it was acceptable to all parties. And that was just to keep it moving because I hadn't talked to you and the personnel committee met last night. So I don't see an issue with if the committee or the commission is content with putting a range of hours on there. That's what we let the personnel committee know.
I mean, I don't want to lose it as a 40-hour-a-week job, but I don't want to lose any good candidates because we can't be somewhat flexible.
That's the point I'm trying to push.
Right.
Yeah. For in other words, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we had some flexibility in there and get a good candidate out of it, well, that's a positive in my point of view. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So Barbara, what else do you need from us?
I'll talk to Julie. If it'll delay it all, that we have to make a range and have to get personnel committee, I would request that we wait on it. I have one candidate who's happy with 40 hours at this point, so.
Okay.
But if it's an issue going forward and that needs to be addressed first, we'll get that addressed first.
All right. So I think I'm hearing you say you'd like to keep it at 40 hours right now.
Right now to get it posted ASAP
Okay.
and then work with the personnel committee to get that
Okay.
range changed.
Mike,
And in
is
that time,
yeah.
possibly we start interviews that can be a known entity, but we'd have to repost it. That's the thing. You can't post it as one and accept a candidate for a different set of hours because that's illegal.
Right. That's why I'm trying to make it open before we post it, I guess. I'm not trying to make a big issue out of it, just saying, it's.
Okay, so do we want to get that verified and approved before we post?
Can we do, just so there's basically, there's 3 of us right now voting on this.
Right.
Is there a way to vote this, with the whole committee? You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody's on the same page.
It just delays it.
guess-
That's 3 weeks. That's my concern, Mike.
Oh, we
is the
can't.
timing.
I'm not saying to the next meeting. Can we vote? Like, we've done it before? We voted on something?
Well, we-
online?
No, that's like open meeting issues.
Open meeting, right, okay, all right.
I've asked for input
So-
and that's always individual
Okay,
input.
so for right now, in the interest of moving it forward, I guess, I'm okay with posting it at 40. It's hard, it's a tough one on me.
Yeah.
I honestly think I'm gonna abstain from a vote on that, because it's just a tough thing, that's all.
Well,
I wish there was more members here.
right. Well, we
Well, we'll wait till the next-
we weren't going to vote. We were just going to tell Barbara to move forward with posting it.
Yeah, right. We don't have to put it on a vote right now. If Bob moves forward with it, it's procedure, and I'm okay with that at this.
Right,
So,
but I
Barbara, I
need to
think-
know if it's a 40 hours or am I putting it through as a range? And if I'm putting it through as a range, I need to get the.
Well, the range would be
notification.
something we'd have to vote on, I guess, and I guess we're saying we're not gonna take a vote. So right now it would just be, that's part of the process for you right now is, posting it as
at
is,
40
yeah,
hour. Yeah.
right,
Okay.
yeah. And then we can have future discussion, I guess, on it.
Okay,
If need be.
Yeah, Mike,
Okay.
I hear everything you're saying. I agree with you. I'm just concerned if we don't move forward.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, right, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we got Bob to stick around once.
There you go. All right, Barbara, anything else from you?
business manager report.
Yeah.
Grease traps, we're getting our first Tuesdays in. Most of them are in. I think we may have one straggler, but I'll let you know in the next meeting about
Okay.
that. And as an FYI, the town meeting warrant was opened effective today by the select board. Closing on March 20th. So if there's any articles that we feel we will want to bring to town meeting, we need to start discussing them, start thinking about it. We've received the request for the annual report due February 16th. It has been done the last couple of years by Ms. Ranley. And I meant to talk to you, Jane, if you wanted to take it on or if you would rather not this year.
Oh.
I haven't talked to
Oh, I
Paula
am
about
on.
it either, so.
Oh, I'd be willing if you need somebody to do it.
Sounds like a yes to me.
I heard yes.
I did too, and she does a very good job.
Okay,
Thank you, Jane.
thank you.
I have a couple invoices. I have a Fitchburg invoice for the monthly flow meters for $18,262.14. The figure that we provided, so no surprises there. And a Mead Tollerman invoice, I think for some Pondview consult time for $123.76, just to run those two by you. So Fitchburg for $18,262.14 and Mead Tollerman for $123.76, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay with me. You don't need signatures. Do you need my initialing of those?
Because of the remote meetings, I just note that we've reviewed them and approved. That's all. You're more than welcome to initial on your next stop by.
Any concerns, Mike or Mike, about those invoices? No? Okay, Barb. Go ahead, Barb.
There's a couple other ZBA hearings coming up on the 25th. Both are sewer customers, but neither have anything to do with sewer. But in case you saw them, I just wanted you aware 383 Whalum is for a new auto repair and 10 Richards Way is trying to put up an accessory building. They're both on sewer, but no impact to sewer. So more of an FYI. Lemonster's NIPD's permit. They are in the process of getting their permit from the EPA, and we dealt with a couple of the EPA's requests over the past couple weeks, sending him links to our maps, the CWMP, and our maintenance plan. He was very happy to receive our maintenance plan, so well done. Mass DEP approved of our sanitary service overflow notification plan finally was submitted in June. And they came back to Bill with a couple corrections or requests, which we complied with, and they have accepted it, I believe, as of December 30th.
Okay,
And then I'm on vacation next week. That's my last thing.
So you're gonna take care of posting this job before you go on vacation?
Yes,
Okay. That was the real reason for the pressure, right?
well, it's just, it is, when I talked to payroll about the timing, I just get concerned. I want to leave it as best as I can.
Okay.
I don't want to leave anyone hanging.
Okay, you all set, Barbara?
I am, thank you.
Okay. Any action items anyone wants to add to the next agenda? Mike, Bill?
Just want to hear all about Bob's vacation on the next agenda, that's all.
I want to finally see my sister in her new home in North Carolina. Yay.
Ooh, there you go. Good.
Public comment. There's no one from the public here, right?
There is not.
Any public comment from any of the commissioners or the staff?
Good.
So,
No?
Mr. Chair, yep, I got something.
Sure.
We talked about the maintenance plan, so I've put together a list of streets to bring in a jetter. And we ran it by Al from CTE yesterday. So we're gonna be starting that soon. We're gonna reach out to a couple of contractors and get going on that. So the list is the first 4 like areas of concern that it usually get hit. Main Street near Town Hall,
Yep.
Sunny Hill Road. There's a couple of big bend 90 degrees up there. Mass Ave near the Public Safety Building. And then I just picked a bunch of streets all close to each other. It's all off of Whalum Road, all the little side streets, Jocelyn, Otis, Hamlin, Natick, that area.
Okay.
So we'll get going on those and
Okay,
should be good.
good. And I've been driving up and down Mass Ave eastbound, looking for the manholes that are 6 inches deep, but I haven't found any yet. So
That's good to hear. Mm,
there are a few that could use replacement, but I guess I'm not a fan of hyperbole when it comes to this kind of thing. Anyway, any comments from anyone else? Seeing none, Mike, you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to adjourn at, I believe, 7:08
Oh, a long meeting tonight, huh?
Tuesday evening.
You want to second that, Mike?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote. Mike Nault,
All right.
Mike DeVegas,
Aye.
and I for myself. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Good night, Lunenburg.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.